Okay, perfect. Can you hear me now? Perfect. So why don't we start with Phani? Phani, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Minnie, for bringing me on board in this panel. Good morning, everyone. Namaste.
Morning.
My name is Phani Jayanthi Sen. I was born and raised in India and moved to US 16 years ago with my family. I'm a professional Indian classical dance performer, educator, and artistic director of Natya Hasta School of Dance based in Cincinnati, Ohio. Being a skilled Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi dancer, and my extensive international dance performances, workshops, and a network of professional connections globally, I have a strong grasp of what today's young dancers, dance learners, and audience are looking for. I spend my leisure time traveling, attending online dance conferences, talk shows, workshops, and dance events. So I can learn the new norms in today's pandemic dance arena, as well as keeping myself abreast with the virtual dance and music fraternity from the comfort of my home. And of course, I'm passionate about communication through rhythm and melody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miss Eileen, why don't you go ahead?
Okay. I'm an art teacher. Private instructions were my thing. I teach a multi-medium of different projects and usually 6 to 12-year-olds. I grew my business out of someone else's idea. I had no plans to become an art teacher, but I always loved art. So it just came very natural to me. And I was a willing participant. And word spread, and over 20 years, I gained so many students that I was literally seeing 2 to 3 classes a day, every day of the week. And also, I do an entertainment for children, face painting, balloon twisting, and crafts. And I used to teach seniors for a while, and I learned a lot of crafts during that time. And I just love what I do, and I'm happy to be a part of this, and I want to thank Minnie for including me in the discussion today.
Absolutely, Miss Eileen. It's my pleasure to have you on this panel. Sangeeta, why don't you go ahead? Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing good. It's still not winter yet, but creeping soon. Thank you, Mrs. Minnie, for having me and the rest of us here. Thank you, Vibrnz Company. And I am a high school certified teacher. I work with New Jersey public schools as a profession. Besides that, I'm also a public speaking coach, and I also have my own private tutoring center that I run from my home. I'm very, very passionate about teaching. I'm all about teaching all the time. I mean, that's what, I do for a living, and that's what I do even if I'm not doing it for a living. I mean, that's my passion, basically. I have a master's in science and a master's in arts. The first one was from India, and the second one is from here. And that's it pretty much about me. I touch a lot of people's lives, children's lives on a day in and day out basis. And the best part is they touch mine as well. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Like students are precious, and I'm sure you'll all agree with Sangeeta. So why don't we, so let me just introduce myself because I think I was muted when I started the panel discussion. So I am Minnie Mrinalini, the founder of Vibrnz, and it is our second panel discussion, and I'm so excited to have you all on this panel. And the subject that we're going to talk about is like, a very talked about subject, because this is what we are all in right now due to the pandemic. And it has online teaching, it has its own opportunities and challenges. And I would love to hear your thoughts about it. So why don't we start with Sangeeta? So why don't you share your general experiences as a teacher? I'm sure there are lots, and you cannot cover all of them here, but maybe the most striking ones that you would like to share with all of us.
As a teacher, I would say that the best part is that, you see the reality, right? You work with children at a very ground level, and the diverse population that we have in this country. You're not only targeting one socioeconomic children or people from one particular socioeconomic background. You're like reaching out to everybody until you are really not there as a teacher. I would say, you do not have that opportunity.
Right.
Seriously, you do not have that opportunity to see the diversity, the ups and downs, the emotional traumas, the good sides, the not so unpleasant sides, everything that happens in a child's life. I guess that is most important to me, that I get to know them from that level, from that angle, and I can reach out and help and make some kind of difference. That, I would say, in general, is the most striking part of being a teacher.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Phani, do you have to say anything about that?
Yes, definitely. As a dance teacher, even I have a diverse students, and well, um, as I don't see them in that, that level where, as Sangeeta has mentioned, because they are coming to my class to learn an art form. So of course, there are challenges, definitely, because, at every level, from the basic level to the juniors and from the advanced level, I do see some challenges, because I have to carefully, you know, make my lessons according to their caliber and understand their emotions, and make them comfortable, as well as dance form, the classical dance form. So for some of them, it's absolutely, foreign language for them. So I have to really come down to their level, try to make them understand exactly what the context is. And I have to really come out of my format and explain to them so that they comprehend my teaching method. And that makes it a lot easier, and they enjoy it in the end of the day, definitely. Yeah, and as I said, in crafting curriculum, um, I always consider the relationship between each movement, why we learn in a certain way, the most effective and efficient ways to execute them, and how a single movement lends itself to learning more in an advanced movement. So teaching did teach me who I am as an artist, and what I want to communicate about dance to my students, and my audience. So, from my first teaching job at the youth focused dance studio back in India, to owning my own dance studio here, um, teaching classes, workshops at the university level in India, Japan, and Europe, and of course in USA. Each of my students gave me a wealth of knowledge about my craft that continues to develop and inspires me as well as others.
Right, right. And
Yeah,
uh, I agree with you. It's not just the teacher. I'm sure even as a teacher, you learn from students as well a lot. And I'm sure you
absolutely.
can see the difference, how you've grown as a teacher from when you started
Yes,
to how you are now. You've
yes.
matured, I'm sure, over a period of time.
I
Uh,
give credit to my students. They
right,
have molded me in many areas.
right,
After coming from, especially I come from India, so definitely
right,
my education and my thoughts and principles are way different
right,
comparing,
right.
the Western world.
Yeah,
But yeah, I accepted graciously and I learned from them, and they are my teachers.
right,
Just
right. No, I
excellent.
agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Mrs. Eileen, why don't you share your experiences as a teacher, the most striking
Yes.
one?
Well, like I said earlier, I didn't plan to be an art teacher, but once I started to teach, I grew with the children, and they taught me so much about how to teach because I had to deal with their behavior. And I watched them grow up, some of them, then their little siblings would come along, and then I get to watch them, and then they were my students. So I've had such a rewarding opportunity with them. But also, I'm very influential. Sometimes the parents will defer to me on either discipline or some subject matter that the parents are not getting through to their kids on. And that makes me feel sort of a part of the family as well as the relationship that's always growing. And I encourage my students to be positive. I don't like negativity. I say, oh, we've only got an hour, no negativity. Save it for later.
I cannot imagine any negativity in your class. I mean, how bubbly you are
it's
yourself.
almost non-existent because I just shut it down, boom, right away. And the kids know. They know I don't, move on until they're behaving. But my story, I think, is different because I'm from America and born and raised here. So my education has been in learning about the Indian culture because that's where it began and that's where it's continued. I have had other students along the way, but very rarely. And I've learned so much about the culture, the gods, Ganesha, the customs, how to celebrate the sticks, all the different activities I've been pretty much a part of over the 20 years. And I try to give the kids support in their own other activities too. Well, what are you good at? And are you in trouble with anything? So I kind of get into their lives a little bit and bury myself into knowing them, and I hope that I love them very much and they love me back. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. As a teacher, yes, you are in you're in contact with so many students who are from various cultures, and you learn so much about them. It's amazing to see the diversity. I'm sure as a teacher, you get that all the time. So our next one, my next question would be about COVID. Now, post COVID, the world has changed. A lot of it has become digital, and so I want you to share how it has impacted your profession as a teacher. Both the goods and the bads. There's a lot that has come out of this. So, Sangeeta, why don't you go ahead?
Hi. Okay, so COVID, of course, I mean, it's touched the whole world, right? So it's sad, but again, we've got to move on and we'll survive. That's the first thing that I would want to mention. Secondly, is that the good things, I'll say the good thing, bad first, or the good or the bad, which one you want to hear first?
Whatever works
I'll
for
go
you.
with the bad things. Let me say I don't know. Let's save the good things for the last, right? So the bad things are not so good. I would rather say. I really don't like to use the word bad. I always use not so good. Which to me it makes a difference. The not so good things are that yes, it has emotionally drained a lot of children, a lot of parents. They've lost a lot of family members. Back in India, even if they have not lost, that anxiety of like, what's going to happen? Are they okay? Are they not okay? That we have parents back in India, we have relatives back in India, and we are anxious about them, and that comes that affects the children, right? So that did take a toll on the children. Secondly is that again, when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking about one community. I'm speaking about the entire country because that's what I deal with, right? On a daily basis. A lot of children have had that problem with internet, problem with computer, taking it from the school, or not getting the right one from the school and going back to the school, exchanging and bringing it back again. Internet connectivity issues, Wi-Fi not working. School has done a lot. And I still had children even in I guess till June in my private tutoring in New York who have not been given a device from school. I was under the impression, well, the whole country has been given, and then no, I found that they have still not been given. And submitting work on a daily basis, when you click pictures on the phone and submit it, and it really doesn't work. It's very hard. If you don't have a device, or you don't have a proper Wi-Fi connection, working, even your phone might not be supporting you, right? So everything, when it depends on technology, there are hundreds and thousands of challenges all over. So that part is one. Second part is that emotional part that I said. The good thing is that with time, I guess the whole country has figured out how to make this work. So they have gradually, of course, back in March, when the whole thing went online, gradually, one state after the other, we all started coming online. I know New Jersey, as a teacher, I know New Jersey started on March 17th. I remember the date very well. March 17th was the first day, I guess, when we were told that you have to start working from home, no more. So we faced a lot of challenges then as well. Suddenly we were told to go online like that at a snap of a finger. But I guess the good thing was that we learned a lot. We never gave up. Teaching did not come to an end. It might not have been the best possible way that you are used to, but it's still a lot better than not having it at all. And we've improved. The whole country has improved. The whole education system has become different and good. I mean, different in a good way. We've learned a lot of softwares to use as a teacher. We've been given continuous trainings. Children have been given continuous trainings by us. We've learned it and then we've passed it out onto them. They've become very technologically savvy, way more than what they were. We have become way more than what we were. Parents have become way more than what they were. A lot of parents know how to use a lot of websites, softwares that each district in each country, in each state is using is different. So they have learned also how to use it and guide their children. So that's the good thing, right? As a country, we've grown from where we were to what we are right now. So I guess that did help us in general overall. Minnie, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, we all have learned technology in the last few months the way we had never done before. And now we're all kind of doing pretty awesome. We're pretty good at it. So, Phani, why don't you share your thoughts about it?
Yeah, since the start of the COVID-19 crisis, there has been a shift in our dance community that is so impressive that the impact, I think, could last long into the future. So as I transform my classes to online, to video conferencing, so it has been somewhat a challenge due to various technical issues, as you can imagine, at the beginning. So there are pros and cons to online classes. I would like to mention a couple of them. As a dance teacher, communicating the finer nuances of dance is the biggest challenge, especially for the beginners. In class, it is much easier to explain. You can touch them. I can make them feel what exactly I want to convey through that expression. But online, that is a little challenging. So during lockdown, I discovered that, yes, digital classes are best, the most versatile tool to propagate and nurture the performing arts. Then this platform works best for again, I come back to the abhinaya, the expression aspect of dance, especially for the intermediate and advanced level, where, we can have a discussion on theory aspects of dance and have much more, exploring on each text or the lyrics of that particular song. So definitely it is a wonderful platform. Then I'm also inspired on a regular basis by my adult students, amazing, who are, adapting to the online learning process, which eliminates their travel time and keeps them safe and healthy. And I think they're also extending their knowledge to the children and husband. So because I really ramp up the audio, and I think they must be listening to the lessons, what I'm explaining and what they are learning. So it's, I think they're creating a healthy environment at home
Right.
too. Yes. Uh, so and then coming to the young students and the families, they are seeing the dance teachers in a new light. That's my perception. Uh,
Mhm.
like, uh, like teachers who were unable to go to the studios, they have brought movement to thousands of young children in every possible way, virtually, you name it, they take them now. They're doing their workshop, or presenting an item in a park, or in a driveway, or in the living room, anywhere, you name it. So the kids, they have a new appreciation for their teachers. They see their strength and look to the teacher as a mentor and leaders, not simply as a person, whose job is to make them a great dancer, perfecting their techniques. But there is a new understanding that teaching dance is more than the steps and a technique, because now the dance teachers are becoming tech savvy.
Mhm.
They are comfortable to go on any platform and teach, and the students are not missing their classes, and they are continuing with safe distance. So I believe COVID-19 brought teachers together. I love this, what I'm seeing, the energy.
Yeah.
You know, they they're sharing their survival tips, then the strategies, their how to keep the studios, working, keep them
Mhm.
open, keep them, motivated, the the students, and most important, the teachers are supporting each other,
Right.
um, because it is, the instinct of survival
Right.
has come into play.
Right.
Before teachers were not concerned, they were just, they were happy with their lesson, classes, their studio, their performances. But the scenario has changed.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the what I appreciate about COVID-19. and
Right.
and it's happening in small towns, big cities, uh, across the USA as well as in India.
Right. Right.
So yeah, this time has shown light on the value and respect for everyone who shares their passion, um, even if they are competitors.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I envision that together we can be the best by continuing to support each other, sharing knowledge and experience. Then, as we lift each other up, we can explore new perspectives for teaching dance as a full time business,
Mhm.
curriculum in schools and universities, and keeping a mutual love for the various art forms
Right,
for
right.
the
No, I
society.
agree. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So, as long as you're healthy and safe, there's a lot of positivity that has come out of this because it's given
absolutely.
us a chance to take a pause and look around us as a community. Look, uh,
Yes.
try to help people who have not been able to, adjust with this new normal. But yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it. Yeah, but there is again the downside. A couple of my students who are back in India, um, they just had to let go their learning process because
right.
due to lack of access to computer, a weak connection. Now a house has only got one computer
Right.
or a laptop.
Right.
How
Right.
can they you
Yeah.
know continue the dance lessons? So that
Yeah.
was one side, downside of it, and I felt bad, but they are keeping up their spirits. I
Mhm.
keep talking to them. I send messages through WhatsApp, keep them motivated. I said, children, think of the past and look towards the future.
Yeah.
The day will come when I'll be back. I mean, we'll be having a comfortable lessons online. Of course, I don't travel. Still, it will be an online class. But
Right.
now that everyone is at home, and everyone has got work on the computer, they're unable to adjust the schedule, the dance, and so they have to, let go the dance classes, and they are now focusing on more important like the academics. Mother's working from home, or the father is working from home. The elder brother needs that computer. So,
right.
So that was the problem.
Miss Eileen, why don't you share the impact of COVID on your profession?
Well, it hit me like a brick. Let me just say that. Yes, I was rolling along, teaching all those classes. And then March 15th, boom, it just stopped. It stopped me dead in my tracks. And after some time when I realized, gee, we're not going back to what we were doing in a few weeks, I just felt like somehow they had taken the children away from me. They were such a big part of my life for so long. And I think the hardest thing was not seeing your family when they're far away to begin with, and you can't travel to see them when things got better, because they still are far away. And in my family, we have elderly people, my dad and my mom and other relatives that we haven't been able to see because they're sort of closed up and closed in. But God willing, they stay safe. And I'm learning a new skill. This is all new to me. I was not on the internet. I was not online. I was not on Zoom. And I have to thank God for Mina and also Maida and Minnie for helping me get back into the world again of doing my art lessons. And it's been a blessing. And I'm learning things that about the teaching that was way different from when I was in person, like literally reaching over the table, and pointing at one of the students' papers, or sometimes I just guide their little pencil a little bit so they could feel what the movement should be. And I can't do that now, so I have to really depend on my ability to communicate to them what they need to do. Or if their sibling is next to them, so-and-so help so-and-so, right?
Right.
So I'm learning little tricks and techniques, and so far it's been pretty good. I'm not complaining, but I really felt like I was pulled out of a rabbit hole that I had gotten myself into in my mind and my physical being. And again, thanks to Maida and Minnie, they just pulled me right out of it. And my whole mood is better now. And I'll save the good stuff for later. But that's the impact on me was pretty harsh, plus no income. So that was pretty harsh. But through different things that, the task force and all the changes that were made in Washington, thank God, the mortgage has been halted. Things have been done to help people squeeze out what they can do for now. And there's been a lot of generosity. I'm very grateful.
Yes. Thanks, Miss Eileen. I've worked with you. I've seen you, a couple of months back, and I've seen you now. You have really inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired a lot of others who had no clue about technology and how people have learned and come out of that rabbit hole, like you said, and they've just gotten used to the new normal. It's
to
very
be honest. I want to be honest. I don't like that term because I can't wait to get back to see my kids again.
Yeah, that was my question. Would you like?
I know it's just around the corner, but now I have a new skill. So
okay.
I can do both.
Okay, so you still, I'm sure you miss that personal touch.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
The hugs. I miss the
Anytime,
hugs.
yes.
Right, ladies? The
Oh,
hugs.
yes. It makes a big difference.
They are the best.
Human touch does make a lot of difference,
All right, nobody cry.
Action speaks louder than words. So
right. Right.
Definitely.
We'll be there soon, ladies.
So we've talked about we've already talked about a little bit about the challenges and the opportunities in this new digital world. Anything else about the opportunities that any of you have not talked about in this new digital world, like your global presence, maybe the ability to reach more students, connect with more people as we go digital? Sangeeta?
Yeah, when you're focusing on that part, I'm definitely going to say about my own personal tutoring and the public speaking classes that I hold. It's been amazing. I mean, seriously, people had no idea how successful they could be if they would not have joined my classes. I'm seriously going to be like, bragging about it, but I'm so proud and I'm so happy that, the way this thing worked out positively. That is, I've been reached out by several parents across the country, even across the world. Unfortunately, I could not teach the children who are outside of the country just because of the time differences. I've been reached out by people from India. I've been reached out by people from Europe, and from South Asia as well. But unfortunately, I could not go ahead with those children because of the time differences, the huge time difference that we have. But yes, I always had students across the country. It's not that my personal tutoring and my public speaking was always out there open for everybody, right? So it was always there. But because of this COVID thing, I guess people were just looking out for more opportunities to keep their children busy at home and not busy with busy work, you know what I mean, busy with good work. So that did help me to reach out to them. They reached out to me, vice versa. When I saw, people there are interested, word of mouth spread immensely. And my tutoring was always very good and flourishing. It's even flourished even better. And my public speaking classes, there are children in the waiting list right now,
Right.
who are seriously in the waiting list. I am trying to create a slot for them to start with the new batch. They are really waiting for months, I would say, very patiently, because it has been so successful, and it has been so good. So I'm thankful to them for that. And also, like, I'm a strong believer in God, not in religion, but in God. That I'm very thankful to God as well that we could make this happen as a team.
Right. Great. Congratulations, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
That's good. Phani, your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts are like, yes, COVID again presented such a unique challenges for me as a dance instructor. Like, I had to replace, first and foremost, my studio-based classes with online sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Then uh, I think I'm discovering innovative ways to keep my students and audience engaged. So, and I also marvel how people make deep connections with each other through learning, mostly online. I mean, for me, it was definitely foreign because we never had the opportunity to do anything with online. We did our education, on a one-on-one basis. We had a good rapport with our teachers. We used to, can sit next to a teacher and had a warm really interaction. Whereas here it's all online and still there is a connection, right? And that's what I'm particularly interested in, the relationship between the offline and online learning environment. And it's like, for me, you're dancing alone, yet together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see. That I'm dancing alone, but I'm with everyone.
Right. Agree.
So this is especially true in the dance community, where many institutions are non-profit and or small business operating in thin margins, and performers relies on gigs, and which are now, most of them are got cancelled. So it's scary. It's scary as the world continues in the uncertain battle against this virus. Yet performing art communities worldwide have been among the first to be affected due to the restrictions on public gatherings and concerts. So, although in person events may be cancelled, all dancers and musicians have come together with renewed vigor and ideas, creative choreography, thinking out of the box, having, no boundaries, and making optimum use of the new stage. As we say in Indian language, Rangasthal, that's the stage. Now the present stage for a performer is an online platform.
Correct.
And the auditorium can be Zoom, Skype.
I know.
You name it. The platform shows. So thus keeping their patrons engaged and bringing in revenue to some extent.
Correct. Nice. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Miss Eileen?
Yes. I was so enamored by all that Phani was saying. I lost my train of thought. So what are we discussing at this point? I'm sorry.
Any opportunities you'd like to talk about?
Oh,
because of
opportunities.
this,
Well, again, I'll repeat myself. Even though it's totally different than I've ever done as far as teaching, and I've taught a lot of other things over the years, it's always been in person. Okay, I'm not talking about adult things like Tupperware and Mary Kay and teaching, like I made a teaching basket making classes. So I've always been in person. Almost everything I've ever done was with people. So to be with this force, these four corners.
Right.
But it's so different than I thought, because we're all doing this together and learning new skills of communication. I think our level of communication has risen. And I also want to add that now I think people are spending more time with their family because they can't be with them. So they're making sure that they're seeing them and talking to them, right? It's almost like we're getting a reset.
Right.
Where the whole world is getting reset.
Right.
And I think we're appreciating things that we didn't appreciate before more and more.
Right.
So those opportunities, I think, are the blessings in disguise.
Nice. Good to know. So my next one would be, so we've been talking about the teachers, the teaching side. Now on the parent side or the student side, I'm sure they have an adjustment to make themselves, okay, and new ways of learning, getting used to teacher, communicating with them online. There's no personal touch there. So I'm sure they are, facing their own issues. My question to you would be, what would you want the other side, like the parents or the receiving side, to understand or be empathetic about when you are teaching online, or what you want them to be aware of? There's so I'll explain a little bit more. So I've heard comments like the online teaching doesn't go well with little kids. They're not able to concentrate. They're not the accountability factor is missing somewhere. Sometimes the blame goes on to the teachers. Sometimes they say, what, no, we need to adjust. It's different things that are crossing their mind. So I would like you to kind of share with the audience what we need to be aware of as parents or students, what you are facing, and any adjustments we need to make in this new world. Make sense?
Yeah.
So Sangeeta, why don't you go ahead with it?
If I have understood your question correctly, is that you are asking that how parents can be empathetic towards the educators? Is that what you're saying?
What would you like them to know, that you all have gotten adjusted to this new normal? It's all new now. Of course, you've gotten used to this, but over a period of time, you have learned new technology. You've learned to adjust with this, the new online learning or teaching methodology. What you want them to understand? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so first of all, I would say that it is hard. we understand, we as
Yeah.
teachers understand your
Right.
side
Right.
completely. We are also
Right.
mothers, right?
Right.
I guess most of us out
Yeah.
here are also
Yeah.
mothers and professionals.
Exactly.
So we also have little children
Uh-huh.
at home
Right.
who are having the same issue as your little child at home. And you're a working mom. I'm a working mom as well. So I'm
Yeah.
going through the same thing. When my
Right.
child is in a class
Mm-hmm.
from another room on another computer, I'm in a class from another room on another computer. So if
Right.
she has a problem, I cannot leave my class and run to her rescue. I
Absolutely.
cannot
Yeah.
do that, right?
Right.
She's got to figure it out herself. I'm going to definitely say that don't stress yourself out,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the little children. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
okay. I as a also since I have my private tutoring and public speaking classes, I have so many parents reaching out to me saying that she's not learning anything, she's not understanding anything. There's a Zoom
Right.
class with 22 kids in the same class. The teacher even doesn't know her name. She's
Yeah.
raising a hand. The teacher cannot even see, which
Right.
will happen. I understand. And I log in from 3 devices simultaneously, up to three. One, I'm sharing the screen because once I share a screen and I'm teaching something on the whiteboard or the
Mm-hmm.
Jamboard or whatever
Mm-hmm.
platform, depends on what platform you're using, I cannot see the students.
Mm.
Now I have 22 kids in one class. All 22 are cannot, I mean, even if they come in one screen, they're so tiny, right?
Right.
So I have two gallery like views on two different devices where I can keep an eye on them. It's
Mm-hmm.
technically doing the way I used to do in the classroom. I'm
Mm-hmm.
writing on the Promethean, or I'm using my Apple device to do it on the Promethean, or the whiteboard, or the chalkboards are not even in existence anymore, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
that platform, while I am looking at the students, is the same thing that I'm doing from home. And that's not an easy task because
Right.
I'm looking at my one device number one where I'm writing.
Mm-hmm.
Device number two, I'm keeping an eye on those kids. Device number three, I'm keeping an eye on the second set of kids.
Right.
And somebody's like looking somewhere else. I'm like, what are you thinking? Can you pay
Yeah.
attention here? And
Yeah.
that they do in the classroom also.
Right.
It's
Right.
nothing new. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're
Exactly.
like, okay, I'm teaching and he's like looking outside, there's an ambulance going, and right, that happens. They're children.
Yeah. Yeah.
However old they are, there will be somebody in the class who will be like that.
Right.
So that will happen. So children will be children all over the world. They are the same. All over the world, they are the same. Children are children. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay if they miss a little bit. They'll catch up. we
Mm-hmm.
we teachers understand that. We teachers know that. We are very empathetic and we know the situation that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's very hard for the working moms and dads, both working in the house, that
Right.
more than one child in the house, multiple devices on at the same time, and mother is in a meeting. Child is like, oh, I cannot get into the Zoom link. This Zoom link suddenly is not working for me. Or the
Yeah.
child has like, doesn't know how to come out of one Zoom meeting and go into the Google Classroom for another teacher and then get into that Zoom meeting, because they have to go to different Zoom meetings for different teachers sometimes.
Right.
Right? It's not the same teacher for all of them all the time. Those challenges are there.
Mm-hmm.
And we teachers know that. So I mean, just have patience. What else can I tell you? I mean, just have patience. Do as much as you can. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go overboard and stress yourself. Let the teacher know. Just
Right.
yesterday, one of the students called and said, my private tutoring, I mean, that he has not submitted a lot of his assignments in school, and the first marking period is almost coming to an end, and it shows all missing, and
Mm-hmm.
missing is counted as a 0 in
Right.
Genesis, so his grade is very low. I said, immediately email
Mm.
the teacher and buy some time. Tell
Right.
them that, what, I was completely unaware. I'm a working mother. I have
Mm-hmm.
2 children at home, and I seriously did not get a chance to go on to Genesis. I seriously never even get a chance to check my own child's Genesis.
Right. Right.
No,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't. I seriously don't. So I'm like, this happens with every mom, right? Suddenly you
Mm-hmm.
will check Genesis and you will say, oh my God, wait, what? 5 assignments missing? You
Yeah.
never told me that. I never knew that. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's okay.
Right.
It's just the first marking period. They'll get a C
Mm-hmm.
grade at the end of the marking period. The whole, like, the year, they will take an average of all the 4 marking periods. So they'll survive.
Mm-hmm.
This result is not going anywhere anyway. If your
Right.
child is a third grade student, trust me, when you go to for an admission in a college and stuff like that, nobody even the heck cares about what you did in third grade. So
Right.
it's okay.
Right.
Let the teachers know. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
time, I mean, I was expecting, like, the parent, what she said was very true, that Why didn't the teacher let me know? And she is very justified on her end. But I explained to her, you will not believe how much, if I share the screen to show you my inbox from my school, you will be overwhelmed. You have no idea how many emails we are getting and how many things we have on a to-do list.
Right.
The to-do list never comes to an end. It just gets added. We strike out 2 and another 5 gets added. So that's how it is. There are always things. So it's not only teaching that we're doing. There are too many things apart from just teaching per se that we have to take care. Conferences, meetings, IEP meetings, filling out a lot of documentation on Genesis reports, meetings with the administrators, observations, you name it, and we have it on the list. And I can give you a whole list of things which will not make any sense to you right now, but all those things are there. So be empathetic towards the teachers. Teachers are also empathetic towards you guys, and just let them know that this is the situation. I just didn't I just wasn't aware. Please give me some more time to finish up this missing assignments. Maybe the child will get a late grade, but 99% of the cases the child will get a grade. It's not going to become 0, and they should be fine. So if that kind of answers the question, that is, I guess it's more of a mutual understanding between the parents and the children as a team and the teachers, that we are all in the same boat, really.
Right. No, this is exactly what I wanted people to hear. What all
don't stress out. I mean, I would really say, really don't stress out. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world if the grade goes down a little bit or goes up a little bit at this point of time. We'll be soon back, hopefully, in school. So things will take a different turn.
Sure. Phani, you have anything to say? Can you unmute?
Yeah, definitely. I would reiterate about that. Parents should not get excited about, like, the child is not learning or is not in par with friend's child. They shouldn't compare. They should not compare. Appreciate your child's caliber and the things he and she they're good at. Appreciate and encourage them rather than demeaning them by comparing with other children. And it should not go on and put undue pressure on them. That's again leads to depression in the kids. They may not speak out, but gradually, they just become quiet. They will stop talking, and they won't share their thoughts with anyone. And I have seen this, and somebody is going through some issues in the house. There is undue pressure on him or her, which is, made him so quiet, not interacting. Rather, the parents must appreciate and encourage, talk to them. You must have interaction with your child. Please don't be, harsh or do a kind of be like a dictator. No, every child cannot excel. So let them be who they are. And again, I say, encourage them in their area, whichever area they are good at. So, like, for example, now at this situation, like, we know that this is a challenging time for both teachers and parents. And as we are adjusting to remote and hybrid learning, while caring for the emotional well-being of the student. So the parents must understand that teacher is also learning the new technique of teaching method, right? What the method we have learned and as being a bachelor in education was different. That education, I think now it doesn't make any sense. Whatever I have studied in B.Ed, it doesn't apply. Yeah, the emotional aspect, the psychology, I can understand. But the teaching method, the tools, that was not imparted to us.
Correct.
So it is now we are also teachers / students.
Correct.
So we are learning every day and then implementing. So we are also taking baby steps. You can
Correct.
say that.
Yeah.
So, the parents must understand. So, and I would like to mention here, like as we keep our ears to the ground, I think you will agree to some extent, I continue to hear reports that emotional intelligence and specifically the empathy is spiraling downward among kids. This is what I mentioned earlier, like why they just keep quiet, they don't talk, they don't care. Their mom is calling, or their father is calling, they don't respond, they just ignore them. So that, I find it quite strange that in a generation more connected, right? More connected to each other than ever through online, through WhatsApp, you name it. So these young adults, find it increasingly difficult to feel that compassion towards each other. They don't respond, they don't talk. So I tell my dance students, hey, y'all are dance students, open your mouth and express. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. Talk to me. Don't shrug your shoulders. I just abhor that gesture. I tell them, stop it. Don't do all this. God has blessed you with speech. Speak. So
That's
you,
all.
and being a dancer, be emotive, be expressive, use your hands, limbs, whatever comes here. So we call it in our dance language Angika Abhinaya. Angika means the entire body, Abhinaya expression. So express through your limbs. Okay, but you have to speak too. You're not dumb, so speak. So that's where, so this is, and what is the reason? What I'm thinking, what is the reason that they have become so introvert? Why they are not speaking? Why they are not expressive? Why they are not smiling? Oh my God, it's a big task for me to tell them, smile, children, smile and dance. They don't smile.
I understand. Yeah.
I say, why? I always think, why? This is, because of heavy screen time, So as the screen time goes up, empathy goes down. Okay.
Right, I agree.
Then information overloaded.
It is.
So they are so confused. They don't know what to take, what to exclude. Okay. So something parents will say, no, they're on screen, they see something which they think, oh, this is valid, I can do this. But then parents and elders say, no, that's not good for you. Don't see that, don't do that. So it's total confusion,
Right.
And there's one more non-consequential behavior. This is I'm talking when they're playing those video games and they are able to do what is with the violent games, okay, and they kill and they get points. So they think in reality, oh, I can kill and that's fine, it's okay, I get some. This is what I'm thinking. These are the reasons. Then there's a virtual reality. It's
Funny. Let's ask Miss Eileen. What is her? We are running out of time almost.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry to intervene there.
I'm overwhelmed with Phani's conversation.
Yeah, I know it is
never right in so many ways. She's very right. But I do want to add to what she said about the screen time. These kids had it before COVID. They were on that screen. Once they were done with homework or before homework, it was screen, screen, screen. And there's things going on they don't understand. There's a lot of subliminal activity from the computer to their minds that they're not actually reading or or even engaged with, but it's happening. They're seeing little things. And I'm concerned about the overexposure.
Correct.
And I haven't experienced this. My son's 30 almost. And, I haven't been with the children, but I sure watched them before, like Fortnite. Not good, not good. So I agree with Phani, even though I haven't experienced it myself, and I can see why she's so concerned about the parents maybe losing touch with all they now have to deal with, but they're losing touch with what their children are being exposed to during this time. And you don't want kids to get so used to the virtual world that they forget about the social world, which is their development. They're learning and growing as young adults. When they get older, how they behave as children is probably going to carry on into their adulthood. So Phani couldn't be more spot on. That would be a big concern of mine. And I have a feeling that parents are getting more introverted. So that word doesn't just go for the children. I think it can go for the parents too, because they need their social time as well. That's something I notice when I'm sitting around the table with my students and the parents are off in the living room. The last thing I want them to have to deal with is their own kids. That's my world now. Even though I get sucked into their childlike world and become more childlike when I'm with them, I notice that the parents are socializing, and I'm always like, good, good, good. And then if one of the kids is like, I got to go ask my mom, like, no, you don't. No, are you bleeding? You have to go to the hospital? Okay, sit. So they don't. I try to help the parents have that peace of mind, that interaction with each other. I think it's so important, and the virtual cannot cut it. I'm sorry. It just can't cut that interaction. And I don't want the parents to become so stressed themselves that they don't even recognize how maybe their child isn't handling things. And now, just like ladies, Sanghita, you blew my mind with everything that you've got. I pictured you like a juggler, somebody with 8 balls in the air. And you got them all. You just, boom, you're great. I love you. You really impressed me that you've got it going. And your students are so lucky to have you. And Phani, same with you. They are so lucky to have you. You obviously care deeply about their growth and their futures. And that's how I look at it too. I care so much about them. But that's how I feel that the parents and the children may be losing a lot more than we realize right now. So I'm grateful that I'll be able to now get back in touch with them and give them an option to be with me again, so I can watch their kids and keep an eye on them.
So we have hit the 1 hour mark. I would love to continue this actually talking. We might talk offline, but any final 2-liners from all 3 of you? Again, only 2-liners. Okay. I would love a final, something very positive for all the audience.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like Sanghita, why don't you start?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your kind words, Eileen, and everybody else as well. Okay. The final word that I would want to leave the children and the parents and all of us as an adult here, that is adaptability. I guess the one who survives is the one who adapts, right? So it's okay. I mean, we'll survive. We'll go through this. We have good things, bad things. There will be ups and downs in life, right? In every sphere, everywhere, there will be pros and cons to everything as well. But I guess we have to learn how to adapt and not give up. I'm so thankful to the parents for not giving up on their children. I'm so thankful to the whole country, to the whole world rather, of the teachers, educators, not giving up on the children. I'm so thankful to the children for not giving up. and saying that I cannot do this, because that I've told day in and day out to my students. I don't know and I can't do it. It does not even exist in my dictionary. So please, please don't even say that. Take it out completely, eliminate that completely from your life. I can't do this and I don't know. Just say, I don't know yet. And that's the motto in my school. I don't know yet. There's something called in yet. I don't know yet how to do this, but I'm going to learn. So, don't even tell me that I cannot do this. Can't doesn't even exist in my dictionary. So that's something. And adaptability. At the end of the day, as I said, reiterating the same thing, that adaptability is the key to success.
Agree with you. Yeah, Phani?
Yeah. So once again, thank you, Minnie, for inviting me over. And thank you, Eileen, for your wonderful words and appreciating my statement. Thank you, Sangeeta, for listening to my speech. And now my final message would be like, this is once in a lifetime opportunity to take what we have experienced and learn and create a vision for education that is more inclusive, responsible, and purposeful than it has ever been. So I thank COVID. I thank parents, my students who have continued this journey of taking classes. They have not given up. And to all performers and the great gurus all around the world, they are striving to do their best and imparting. So we need to have positivity, empathy in our students. That's very important. And so to tell you all, I chose to become a teacher because I honor and respect. I worship my learnings and the profession by acting responsibly at all times, good or bad. So this pandemic will pass, but dance will sustain.
Yep.
In conclusion, any art form you name, it helps a student. I'm talking from the age of 5 to 50 at plus 50, in becoming a successful human being. It contributes a meaning, beauty, possibility, inspiration, hope, skill, stewardship, into the world, into their life. So with this balance, one will be able to dance to the rhythm of their life for a lifetime.
Very nice. Really nice.
Thank you.
Eileen, what about you? Would you like to share a final message with the audience? Couple of lines. Can you hear me? Miss Eileen, can you hear me?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you said Fanny.
Do you have a final message?
Didn't Fanny just talk? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me be quick. Like I was saying earlier about the blessings that Minnie and Maida brought to me, my whole mood is better every day. I have things to look forward to and things to plan, things to write, things to have to do other than just stare at the television set or listen to people on the phone. They call. But I also want to say that kids used to have it so good, right? But now they've learned to survive. They've learned to save. They've learned to appreciate food and the niceties that we do have. We were so blessed, right? And then it was almost like it just either disappeared or just kind of got really tiny. And there's a lot of poverty where they're really suffering. Look how the whole community came together to help others. I know there's a food bank right up the road from me. And if my boyfriend's not buying groceries when he goes back to Silver Spring soon, I know I can go there and get whatever I need. So, and my neighbor's been dropping things off at my doorstep. So I've been very blessed. But I just wanted to share that now that they know these things, maybe they'll be a little less, and I don't want to use this word towards anyone in particular, but spoiled. Maybe a little spoiled. Maybe now they'll appreciate mom and dad even more because they saw mom and dad struggle and have to adapt and have to learn new things. And so they're not so much in their own little world anymore. They've had to become part of the world of around them. So I think that's the most positive thing that occurred because I've always thought that children, when I grew up in between the 50s and 60s as a child, my parents struggled, so I didn't have everything every kid had, but I wasn't poor. But kids today do have quite a lot, and they've been absolutely blessed. But I think a lot of them has just risen to the occasion and become parents' helpers and not so much the waited upon. If that makes sense.
I love you all. I love this conversation. It was such a nice
thank you so much.
Things across.
Nice to meet
Thank you.
everybody.
Really nice. Thank you so much. And
Thank
Thank you, everyone, to all the audience, the virtual audience. Thank you so much.
Oh, the audience.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.